Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Fire Mage, and welcome back to Rimworld Ascension Take 2, Episode 78. If you enjoy this episode, please remember to like and subscribe, and as always, mod list is down in the description. And with that, let's get on to the episode. Alright, well, picking up from where we left off last time, what are my plans for today? Well, obviously, as with last episode, we will be continuing our project of the dining hall and rec center over here, but I also have some other plans. Now, I, as you know, have an ideology that has relics. Specifically, we have the ability to begin the questline for the Rifle of Trade, which is what we're going to be starting today. So we will accept that quest, and now we just have to wait for more information to start coming in about that. As information comes in about that, though, I plan to do something a little interesting. See, as information comes out, they will spawn on our map somewhere. And my plan, as ill-advised as it may initially seem, is we are going to attack every single hostile encampment on the way to wherever that information is. So if it, for instance, say, spawns right here, we would hit this mining camp, then hit the information, and then bring it home. Same if it spawns down here, over here, or really anywhere. That way, we can, one, obviously, get the relic, but two, we can also start testing out all of our vehicles in a more offensive role, seeing as they've only been tested defensively thus far. On top of that, though, I will also be putting something new on the list, because if you will remember last episode, we got the upgraded mechs, which require these much larger gestators and rechargers. So, we need to build a proper mech workshop, because as easy as it is to keep it in here in the lab, it's not big enough, so we need an upgrade. Of course, that will wait until we finish up the dining hall, as this kind of takes priority, but it is something we will be working on in the future. Alright, well, I think it's time for us to launch an attack. I was just looking through my quest log here, and apparently at some point, I got this Stash of Fortune quest. Normally, I would ignore this, however, this would let us get the big rig, which, if we could get that researched, let's just pull it up over here. A single big rig can haul 2,200 kilograms, which is currently more than both of my mules combined. So, I think we are going to do that quest, which is all the way up here. However, we're not just going to go straight to that quest, although that would technically be the most efficient. We are also going to hit some of these pirate camps. This one, as you can see, is very weak, with only 397 settlement points, which I think is some sort of measuring metric for how powerful the defenses will be. This one, however, Cancer Base, has 5,430, and is pretty close to us, so therefore, it will be the first one we hit. Now, the most important part of doing this is going to be determining who we send. We are also running really low on ammo right now, which is a bit unfortunate. Luckily, our tanks and vehicles are fully equipped, so hopefully that will be enough. Now, looking through our teams here, we need to pick out the people who have not only guns, but also have ammo for said guns. For instance, Carrie does not have a gun, but is carrying ammo. So please unload that. You do not need the ammo, Carrie. The Best has a gun, but no ammo for said gun, which is unfortunate. Same with Chris, although Chris does have a tiny bit of ammo, which we can go ahead and reload that heavy machine gun with. Silveranis has many guns, apparently, which are in fact loaded. So Silveranis, you will be part of the team. And a few of our other people. It looks like for the most part, everyone has at least a little bit of ammo. Alright, so let's go ahead and prepare the war caravan. Starting off with the Scythemen, as they are at the top of the list. Cheeseman and Sam will be our Rocketeers for this event. Then, going off of the Rocketeers and into the Tangos, we'll try and see if we can, in fact, use the Dryads as our drivers, as if that works, it would be pretty funny. Then, for our first squad of infantry, we will have Sparkles, Beller Rose, Chris, Silveranis, and McFarland in APC number 1. Then in the second one, we will have Rivera, Raw, and Nomics, which leaves us with 2 passenger slots. Of course, we also need some tank drivers, which will be Mooks and Tech in tank number 1, and tank number 2 will have the Best and Carry as its gunners. Then for the mules, we'll have White drive 1, and we'll have, let's say, Wiggy drive the other. Why not? Now, you might be wondering why we aren't loading up our war caskets. Well, that's because, quite frankly, I kind of want to leave them at the base. They will bring the Mosquito if we ever need anything like fuel or extra firepower from the war caskets. Now, when it comes to loading up extra food, not really going to be doing too much in that field, as for the most part, we'll just eat whatever we can scavenge. But I'll go ahead, just to be sure, and grab a handful of meals. Better safe than sorry. Then we will launch our attack on the big one first and foremost. Now that is the majority of my colony being sent out to attack, which could end quite horribly. But, if you will remember, over here we have 15 nuclear warheads. If we think an attack is a little too difficult, then we just load up a nuclear shell and launch it. Probably gonna kill most of the enemy if we do that, as well as blow up most of the loot, but if it comes down to it, we have that as an option. Or if it just gets a little bit too difficult, and we don't want to waste a nuke, we simply send the Mosquito in with our 2 war caskets, which would probably work. And in the meantime, though, we are leaving a handful of our constructors behind, as well as German with all of his robots, so hopefully that will be enough to keep us functioning. And here we are. Oh, apparently we landed in the middle of their base for some reason. Also, one of my mules is pink. Well, that's not normal. This is a very bad spot for my caravan to be, though, as we are now surrounded, because I guess my caravan decided spawning here is a good idea. Okay, Scythemen, run. You need to be the first ones to get out of there. So, we'll send you out. Although I'm only seeing one Scytheman, where's my other Scytheman? It would appear that my other Scytheman has been consumed by the void. Concerning. Well then. This is certainly something. I guess my tank can immediately start reversing out of there. This one can go ahead and move up here. Tangos, move out. Same with these. Oh, one of my rocket artilleries is in here, apparently. Covered in my other vehicles. Lovely. Alright. Well, this is certainly not ideal, if I do say so myself. Who's in this one? Those guys? One of you move to the gunner position and book it out of there. Let's make sure each of these has at least someone manning the gun. Open fire! No, don't open fire where my vehicles are. That's a bad spot to shoot. You know what? Tanks, just drive forward. You're a tank. Rocket artillery, run! You engage Ho. Where's my other APC? Right there? It's skedaddling. Okay. Tanks are engaging. There's a lot of guys. Okay, now that you've driven forward, start driving backwards. Immediately run! We are engaging with what we can. Okay, who do you have? You have a bunch of people? Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Drive forward just a little bit more, and then flip around. Why did you stop? Oh, your engine's gone. Well, engage rocket artillery blast. This one also got into position. Begin another rocket artillery blast. Also, tank, you should really flip around so that your most armored section is actually facing the bad guys. Same with you. Alright, you're in position. Begin offloading pawns. Chris, get back in the passenger section. Sparkles, get into the gunner. More guns! Get behind the APC, though. Use it for cover. Alright, you fired your rockets. Get out of there, cheese man. Get out of there, cheese! No, cheese is down! Alright. You're also in position? Yeah, Rivera, get into the gunner position. Ra, get there. Actually, we'll have Nomics do the gunning. Why not? Rivera, equip your gun, please. I don't know why you're not equipping your gun. Let's get McFarland over here. Get behind cover, please. We have cover for a reason. Use it. Tanks are engaging as well. Thankfully. You two also get behind the APC. Why are you not shooting? Engage. You have autocannons. Use them. Let's also start spreading our infantry out a little bit more. We may not have all the armor that we used to, but that doesn't mean we're helpless. Rivera, back up. Engage. Do not continue firing that autocannon at my people. Ugh! That is terrifyingly fast to whip around. Engage that guy. Hey, and they are fleeing. Although it looks like we did take a lot of damage. More importantly, though, the engine and chem tanks are fine. But we're not done yet. Keep firing! Ah. And apparently that guy was holding an explosive. Ouch. Well, that was certainly a hard-fought victory. And I think we're going to bring the war caskets in now, solely to clear out the turrets. So, Baskling, Reaper, please board the Mosquito, while we focus on trying to not die. So, I think the first thing we're going to do is claim up this little section here, and we are going to start trying to heal our guys. We'll start off with this building, since it's the biggest. Most likely to have beds. Ra, please move in there, because you have a shotgun. All right, and the mosquito is loaded up with the war casket, so let's go ahead. Send them in here. And we will drop them right here. And while they're on the way, we have also now successfully secured 3 hospital beds, which we will immediately begin using to doctor up our people. Also, I'm pretty sure this is in fact a prison or hospital, as there is a turret in there. Once again, that is what a war casket is for, though. And speaking of, there goes the helicopter. Very slowly taking off and on its way to assist. In the meantime, we will continue our work on the medical side of things. Bella Rose, why do you do this? Why did you run in there? Well, now you also need medical attention. Oh, and there goes your leg. Shot off by a uranium slug turret. Lovely. And there we go. The war casket deployment is successful. Alright, let's go ahead and start sending them in. Reaper, you will deal with the uranium slug turret. And let's see. Where is that one colonist with the big scary shotgun? Ah, they dropped it. Right. In that case, Baskling, please go equip said big scary shotgun. And I'm going to have you do room clearing. There we go. Shotgun equipped. And now, Baskling, your first job is to get in here and figure out what's going on in this big building. Also, it appears that Reaper has decided the first turret to go shall be this spotlight turret. Maybe, if they can actually land their shots. And there we go, turret down. And it's a prisoner. Interesting. Ah, unwaveringly loyal, though. Not particularly appealing. The food is, though. What do we got in here? Another prisoner. Boomer. Hello, what are you? A waster. Die. Alright, let's check the next room. Let's turn off fire at will, just in case. Oh, hello. What happened in here? Well, you're unwaveringly loyal. Not worth the time or resources to rescue. Ah, another turret! Take it out. Baskling, obliterate that turret. And that leaves us with one more prison room to check. Oh, hello. What are you? You are good. Very interesting. Well, in that case, prisoners. And let's send one of our guys to capture you. We'll send the best to do so. Then we will also claim the rest of these beds, and we will simply set them to colonist use specifically. Alright, Baskling, you did a good job. Next, please move out, and we are gonna go clear out some more stuff. White, no. Ah, and that evil spotlight turret has finally been defeated. Please go deal with the one turret that I'm actually concerned about, though. Ah, and the Whitemire settlement is actually going to start attacking me now. Interesting. Apparently, this Simo guy has decided to resist. Well, that is a shame that we ruined our relations with that faction. Not that it really matters, considering how far away they are. More of a mild inconvenience. And right here is the final room. What do we have? Beds. Lovely. Well, now we get to do the fun job of putting out all these fires we caused and looting everything. Not only will we be looting, but we will also be deconstructing these generators, these beds, vital monitors, anything made of steel, essentially. If it's made of steel, I want it deconstructed. You know what? Actually, while all of our people are busy deconstructing and hunting everything to death on that map, let's actually reform our caravan. Although I will need to do this manually since it's trying to reform the entire caravan, which is not what I want to do. And we are going to send our injured back home with Sam. And we are going to load up all of our goodies. Specifically, the goodies I'm talking about are all of the human corpses. No point in wasting what can be turned into fuel. And on top of that, we'll go ahead, grab the prosthetics and the organs. Why not? And then we will grab up things like the components, the plain leather, cloth, all the basic stuff. Alright, and after loading up everything that I personally deem important, let's go ahead and get that on the way back to our base. Oh, and apparently, whatever was causing the mule to be broken is now no longer broken, and it is back to normal. How strange. Well, not particularly my concern. Well, with our caravan on the way back here to our lovely base of Bodaka, I think we need to do some stuff over here. Seeing as we are going to be getting a bunch of food and other stuff, and our freezer is just a little bit full, I think it's time for us to start building the things in here to store our goodies. Starting off, we are going to need some shelves for the drinks, which we will put right here, like so. Perfect. Nice. That is a perfect-sized room to store all of our drinks. We are also going to be building a couple of meal racks, believe it or not, in here for a future plan I have. Then, of course, the main thing we need in here, the food baskets. We'll start off with a little something like that, and then we can fill it in with more if needed. Hopefully we don't. But if that can get built in a timely manner, that should help alleviate our storage issues over here. Even if the meat can't be refrigerated, we can at the very least start storing the drinks and the large amount of chocolate up here. There's Sam's truck with all of its goodies. Alright, well, first thing we're going to do is actually drive it to right here specifically, so that we can just dump our corpses right next to the chem fuel clarifier. Save our lifter a little bit of work. Or my lifter can run directly in front of the truck. Sometimes I question their intelligence. But that does not matter, for we have parked. And that means we can go ahead, dump off all of these corpses that we have. And do we have a lot? And then we can bring the truck on down here to deposit all the other goodies. Actually, first stop will be right in front of the hospital, so that we can drop off all of our injured people. And you know what? Let's actually just dump all the cargo right here and immediately send the mule back out with Sam as the driver once again. Please go ahead and start making your way on over to the loot caravan. And there we go. Sam has returned with the mule so that we can load up more cargo. However, I think I'm going to leave this episode off here. Admittedly, we didn't get to our final destination, but that is because this attack was on a very large settlement, on which we won with no casualties. Quite a few injuries, though, and missing limbs. So, we're gonna have to fix that next time. And also, we have only 2.3 days left to deconstruct everything, repair our vehicles, load everything up, and haul it back to the base before continuing on our little raiding extravaganza. But with all that said and done, I will see you all in the next episode.